I'd like to introduce our final two speakers, Felicia Federico and Julie Castro from the Energy Coalition. Felicia Federico is the Director of Funding and Research and has over 30 years of experience managing multidisciplinary science and engineering projects and grants. She plays a critical role in identifying funding opportunities, establishing partnerships, and developing projects at the Energy Coalition. Julie Castro is the Assistant Director of Energy Services. Her background includes research, program management, and partnership development in the field of sustainable urban planning and green building initiatives. Julie holds a master's degree in urban studies from UCLA and a BA in global and international studies and architecture history from UC Santa Barbara. Thank you so much to both of you for being here. We're really lucky to have you. I'll pass it off to you to kick off your presentation.
Great, thank you, and good morning, everyone. I'm Felicia Federico. I'm delighted to be here with my colleague Julie Castro to discuss the Energy Coalition's Direct-to-Renter program in support of public health equity. The Energy Coalition is a California-based nonprofit. We've been serving local communities for 50 years with deep experience designing and implementing strategies that transform energy use, generate capital, and inspire responsible energy actions. We have offices in Irvine, Los Angeles, San Diego, and Oakland. Next slide. So the Direct-to-Renter program provides no-cost appliances directly to low-income renters for their ownership and use, bypassing landlords. Now, normally we've had several slides making the energy case for this program, but I think most people are probably already have a gut sense that renters are being left out of the energy transition. And normally we discuss the health case for this program, but the previous presentations really set that up nicely for us. So given the limited time, we're going to go directly into the details of the program design and implementation. Next slide, please. But first, we do want to make a few notes. So the program isn't a replacement for investments in building energy infrastructure. That still needs to happen. And it's also not going to solve the many other issues facing renters like mold, lead, et cetera. But it will provide urgently needed immediate relief by filling a public health and energy program equity gap that currently exists. So next slide. The program has been designed to provide the following 5 benefits to renters: efficient, affordable cooling and heating, resilience in the event of power outages, improvements in indoor air quality, the ability to manage energy use and energy bills, and greenhouse gas reductions. Next slide. And when we selected the appliances that could provide these benefits, we had 3 basic criteria that needed to be met. First, the appliances needed to be portable. Then they needed to run on 120 volts and also not require any permissions or involvement from landlords, which can often be fraught. So there's no need for new circuits or panel upsizing associated with these appliances. Next slide. So after some extensive research, we developed a list of appliance categories that would provide these target benefits. And so this matrix shows which benefits are supported by each appliance category. And we've highlighted in red those 4 categories that are most essential for meeting health and safety needs. And those are portable heat pump air conditioners and heaters, providing both high heat management and indoor air quality, and greenhouse gas reductions, which we'll get to in a minute. Electric cooking appliances, which provide high heat management and indoor air quality as well. Air purifiers focused on indoor air quality, and portable batteries providing resilience and safety in the event of a grid outage, and also allowing for the other appliances to be run for some time in the event that the power goes out. And other than the air purifiers, all of those categories can provide some substantial GHG reductions. So going on to the next slide, So this is the slide, or this is the table of the specific appliances that we selected for the pilot project. I'm not going to go through the details of all of these, but we do want to note that the prices are from 2024, so they may no longer be accurate, what with everything happening. Um, but uh, but this is available to you, after the meeting, and you can look at the details and follow the links. So with that background on the goals and the technical design, I'm now going to pass it over to Julie, who will be describing how we implemented the pilot program, some of the insights that we gained from the participants, and what our next steps are. So Julie.
All right. Thank you, Felicia. I'll just say that we're very happy to be here. And, I've worked on a lot of energy related programs, and this one was a really exciting one to work on because we were able to start with who were the participants and how did we want to provide benefits rather than what was our funding source and what we could do within that funding source. So how did we work on this program and what was our process to develop it? We had funding from the DOE's Community Energy Innovation Prize, which provided pilot level funding for us to launch this direct to renter program. We were able to serve 10 participants, renters, 100% renters within the city of Pomona. The elements of the program include the technical design, which Felicia just went through, so I'll be really brief on that, as well as many program elements. Who is included? How did we conduct outreach? How did we enroll? How did we logistically make this program happen through ordering, staging, and delivery? And then how did we find out the impact of the program? We conducted surveys and testimonials. Oh, and then before I move to the next slide, I just want to note that for anybody that's not familiar with the city of Pomona, Pomona is roughly 30 miles east of downtown Los Angeles. So you can imagine what the climate in Pomona is like. Extreme heat is absolutely a key concern. Moving to the next slide. Our process was a multi-staged process, starting with the identification of appliances through the steps that Felicia walked through. We also looked at what the incentive structure would be. How much were we going to pay for each of the appliances that we awarded to all of the participants? And right away, one of our key goals of the program was to remove as many barriers to participation as possible. So we immediately thought, let's cover 100% of the appliance cost for participants. And we also decided to set a budget per household of $2,500. And through the list that Felicia shared, we allowed participants to select appliances of their choice and prioritize them up to that $2,500 cap. Next, we needed to decide who would be eligible to participate and how they would sign up. There's a lot of different ways that we talk through income verification, CARE, FARA checks to see if participants are participating in that program. But we wanted, again, to make sure that there were as few barriers as possible. So we leveraged an existing tool, Justice 40, to see, what were the communities that would be a priority. And we just said, if you live in this area, you would be eligible to participate. Something similar could be done through Cal Screen, targeting disadvantaged communities. So really, if you lived in this specific community and you were a renter, you were eligible for the program. This allowed us to make the sign up process very streamlined. So just 2 to 3 minutes per participant. In just 2 weeks, we had 45 participants sign up. And we had to institute a random drawing to select 10 households as winners to make sure that we were fairly selecting the participants. And then last but certainly not least, we had design and outreach element of our program, which included 2 community-based organizations, as well as the city of Pomona and their community choice aggregator, Pomona Choice Energy, who played really key roles. The community-based organizations, Day One and Latino Latina Roundtable of San Gabriel and Pomona Valley, have been in the community for a long time. Unfortunately, there's a history in this community of energy scams, solar scams, and there's a lot of fear of
deportation or being detained. So Day One and Latina Roundtable are trusted faces, and they were able to conduct the outreach to reach the community members that we were trying to include, and they were able to also help us design marketing that resonated with the community. The city and Pomona Choice Energy promoted the program through their website and through their newsletter, which lent a lot of credibility to the program, because if you look at the advertising through critical lenses, it probably sounds like a scam. Give us, sign up here and we're going to provide you with zero cost appliances. So having the city host the information helps people feel like this was a legitimate program. Moving to the next slide. And just in really high level key takeaways of what the program impacts were, in just 2 weeks, we had really over 45 participants apply. 45 was the list that was eligible, but we had even more participants apply. Then we had 10 households that we were able to serve. Nearly 70 appliances were delivered. And I'll say that this program, we had just 3 months to complete all of this work for this initial phase. We developed 12 marketing and education materials. We conducted nearly 20 surveys, 17 surveys, so almost 1 or 2 per person. And then we developed a replicable program protocol, which I'll speak more to in a second. Moving to the next slide. A really important part of our program was conducting surveys and getting testimonials from participants, both prior to them receiving their appliances and afterwards. But at the outset, we found that air conditioning, extreme heat concerns, that was the #1 priority for all of the participants, followed by indoor air quality. Interestingly, we found that a lot of these participants did have air conditioning, but it was either, just in one room, or it was very expensive to run because it was a whole house, and so people didn't run it, doing that cost consideration way off. And then other people had air conditioning that did not function. So even though air conditioning was existing, it wasn't meeting the needs of the community. And then moving to the next slide, we have a few testimonials that we can share. So this participant, Liz, an interesting thing that we found is that she had purchased a old, inefficient portable AC unit off of Craigslist the previous summer, so summer of 2023. And then when she had her new portable heat pump AC unit in 2024, she found that her utility bill went down. So this was really important impact for her. Moving to the next slide, another participant, Fatima. Oh, sorry, one more slide. Thank you. So Fatima is a participant that when we told her she was a winner and she would be awarded these appliances in 2 weeks, she called us and said, I can't wait that long. At the time, the temperature in Pomona was triple digits, and she said, there's a heat wave going on. I need that AC unit ASAP. I don't have one right now. And so we were able to work with her to get it delivered right away. And, she's extremely grateful to be participating in this program. She's followed up with us through every testimonial that we've asked and provided us feedback on the program. She let us know that her grandkids were spending the night with her throughout the summer because their household did not have air conditioning. Moving to the next slide. A key element of the work that we did for the Department of Energy grant was to develop a program protocol. And this is going to be linked here in the Zoom webinar. If not, if you lose it or you would like to learn more, please feel free to reach out to Felicia or myself. But this roadmap talks about the whole process that we went through this pilot, how we considered the concerns or hazards that we wanted to mitigate, and how we could find technologies that helped address that. And then we also talk through how we logistically went through delivery, how, what some of the considerations we made, some of the pros and cons and trade-offs, and some of the questions that we still have to answer. Moving to the next slide. So what are our next steps for this program? Really happy to report that we have a grant through the Strategic Growth Council Transformative Climate Communities that will take place in the city of Pomona as well. This grant is inclusive of many projects, but one of the projects is a direct renter offering based off of this pilot, and it will be able to serve over 100 renter participants. And then we're also working with the city of Santa Monica with funding that they've received through the Los Angeles-based community choice aggregator Clean Power Alliance to serve 75 to 80 renter participants. I'll note that, in particular for Pomona, when we did the pilot last year, there were already concerns about fear and trust. And, based on the events of this weekend, I think we have a lot to think about in terms of how we're going to continue to gain resident trust and participation. But I'll say that the community-based organizations we work with are going to be absolutely essential for the next steps. Moving to the next slide. We have a lot of other questions to ask and answer, as I mentioned. So funding, how do you scale this program? Is it with public health? Is it through community choice aggregators? Is it through health insurance? Technical, can the battery, a portable battery, be paired with the portable AC to mitigate the peak pricing that a participant is paying for, or could it be used for demand response? Implementation, could we leverage a marketplace to make the purchase and delivery of the appliances more efficient? And can we use volume purchases to lower the appliance cost? And then with that, I think that brings us to our last slide. So I'll just say thank you very much for your time and for the opportunity to present this pilot that we are very happy about. Please reach out to Felicia or myself if you have any questions or comments on our presentation or would like to see the program protocol, and I will pass it back to Ivana.